the fourth module. What is the PMO-BIA assessment? The definition, our PMO impact exercises, and the case and our cases. So starting for about a little bit of background, business impact analysis is obviously the process to define a potential impact or a disruption or even an incident into the organization. So the business impact analysis help organization to improve or to prepare a critical operation or a business function, or to ensure that any issue occur during or even after a disruption. This is, by the way, this is the formal definition of business impact analysis, which is in the standard ISO 22301. Okay. Then, business impact analysis is in the center of the center of disaster recovery planning. So the BIA is not outside anything. It's not an empty thing outside the disaster recovery or a business impact analysis. The framework is within a disaster recovery, even within the business impact analysis. Okay, so we have to keep in mind that business impact analysis is a part of the business continuity plan. So, but people always forget about talking the business impact analysis. Always people on organization, on even big companies, forget what is a business impact analysis, because everybody talks about business continuity plan and disaster recovery plan, but people keeps forgetting what is the business impact analysis, because everybody talks about RPO, RTO, and disaster recovery plan. If you got your effect about the RTO, disaster, disaster, what is the business? But really, what is covered in the business impact analysis, people looks like the area of disruption and everything behind was the business impact analysis. People looks like they keep forgetting what it is. So this is important to remember, that when it becomes to business, the impact analysis is the real key, because performing the business impact analysis is for ensure the business that can survive an unforeseen any event. Because the goal of a BIA is always to protect an essential operation of a business. So the BIA can understand on any organization that is a key, and maybe the best business analysis that any organization can have. But looks like from time to time, always organization what they conduct is what we call the business continuity plan. Later we would see what is the business continuity plan. And here is the business impact analysis certification. I don't know if some of you have heard about this certification, because looks like when I show to the people really get surprised, because not everybody knows what is this certification knows about. And this is something that is on the web, and looks like when I show to the organization and when I show to the enterprise, they get surprised. And even the security people, because they also got the disaster recovery, the business continuity is ISO, but when they see this, they looks like they forget about it, and that's the last one. That's the last certification that's for 2021. That's the last update they got. So this is something that I try to explain everybody, that this is the new ISO, for the latest ISO, that's for the business continuity, and also for the BIA certification. It's not only for business continuity, it's also for the BIA. So the business impact analysis certification, big companies must have it. So this is what is the business continuity management. So a lot of organizations have the business continuity certification, but when you go to the business impact analysis certification, they don't have it. So that's why like Leo has mentioned, that the business impact analysis is very, very important, and that's why we think as PMO, as PMO's officer, we really think we need that framework to establish really that we really need a business impact analysis, formal business impact analysis. Okay, as you can see here, this is the business impact analysis. This is the framework for business continuity management. But within it is the business impact analysis, risk assessment, testing and validation, then identification of a need, and then the disaster recovery. So we're not talking about business continuity as an entity, or business impact analysis as an entity, or disaster recovery as an entity. No, business continuity management is an entity, a framework, and within them is a business impact analysis, and then disaster recovery. So we're talking about a real group of framework that we call business continuity management. So this is really important, because this is in the books. This is the framework of business continuity management. So, and then that's our PMO-BIA framework. Why we think we need a PMO-BIA framework? Well, because we need to understand that BIA is really important. And we came with a framework, framework of 6 steps that we really need to understand, that organization need to organize all the documentation, all the knowledge, that is not well organized and that not well understood. And because why? Really, BIA needs a team or people that really have knowledge of what we're talking about. Right now, when we talk about disaster recovery plan, when we talk about business continuity plan, who got the lead on that? Normally, is the security team. Why? Because the security team have the security management of all the processes, but they really don't have the knowledge. Operation have some knowledge of the operation, because they do the daily management operation. Security have the lead of security knowledge, password reset, password documentation, disaster recovery documentation, they don't have the application knowledge. Project management, they have some knowledge, but they don't have, once the project is ready, the project is done. And nobody got that. RPO, well, we will talk about this. Then that's why we said that we create this framework, okay, for them to get together all that knowledge, documentation, and to present and collect all that. So in 6 steps, we will see later how to present all this to the management and how this framework works. So we got the second step, set an scope and objective, select documentation, we have template, define a scope, interview question. The third step, gather information, top risk, function, critical. 4th step, document finding. 5th step, present finding to the leadership. And 6th step, the 6th step is, we call it next step. Why? Because the next step is at the start, because we can have several branches. Why? Because it's easy, because we can perform a disaster recovery, we can perform a review for business continuity, we can identify gaps. So that's the reason why we call it next step. Because obviously a BIA per se cannot perform a real disaster recovery, because BIA is within the framework of business continuity. So a BIA entity cannot perform a disaster recovery. It's within the business continuity, okay? So as you can see, that's why I highlighted here. All right, so the 6 steps are here. So we divided. So these are the concepts that I was talking about. So in the module 1, we will review all the concepts for the terminology of the BIA, or the terminology of what we normally use for disaster recovery, obviously. And that's the part of the documentation we need to collect. This is the real business analysis, business impact analysis that we need to collect. And that's what we call, when we need a disaster recovery or a business continuity plan, this is all the information we need to gather. And where are all this information? Do you think operation has? Do you think security has it? Or security can provide that information? Or application people can provide that application? It's the business that have this information. And that's why our framework, okay, has the template and can keep the PMO-BIA has a place to have it, has the template, and we should store that information. So we will recall in the module, we will recall all this. This is the old module. This is, everybody should know all this terminology, but we will recall this terminology. And when we recall and we will gather this information, we can go also to the customer, to obviously the application people, because the application, they don't know, they don't recall that, or they even don't know what is all this all about. The restoring mode, where is the RTO, what is the mid time to down, mid time download. So where is the interruption, the alternate mode, or the acceptable interruption window. They don't know that. The application people, they don't care about that. Okay? So also, we will recall what is the data center support infrastructure, what are the tier mode. So this is information that they don't care, but we care as a BIA. Okay, that's we will recover. The cloud disaster the recovery model. So that's the information we have to know, and we should help the people to understand it, because we should gather that information, the cloud disaster recovery model. So we have to help people to understand it, because we will have this information. We have to help people how to get it, how to take that information, how to help people, managers, application, to how to make them to understand when we gather that information. Okay, this is really information. The cloud-based disaster recovery, the approach. Okay, especially application people, web-based with web application. So where they will normally how the data center or the web application. So where would they at? Okay, this is important, because for backup and restore, especially for database administrator, because they know normal when the database were. So log administrators. So this is to help or to remember for everyone. Okay. So and this is what we're talking about even in model two. So we explain really that BIA is not a risk analysis. That people understand, people really up to now, they really understand that BIA is a risk analysis. BIA is not a risk analysis. BIA identify risk, but really BIA is not a risk analysis. The BIA identifies the quantitative, the measurable, and the quantitative, no, usually the reputation. So the impact that could occur in, for example, in a department of business function was unable to function for any reason. So, however, like I said here, really, if your company wants to put threat analysis, risk analysis, or whatever under the BIA umbrella, not a problem, but it's not a risk analysis. People always confuse a risk analysis that is a BIA, but it's really not. So BIA is not a project. Everybody really confuse a BIA that is a project per se. And a BIA is not a project. It's a process. Because BIA is BIA is changing every time. The business impact analysis have to change every time, have to keep on going. Every time you change everything. You change an application, you change a model, you change, because what happened if you change a model of backup? If you change a software, if you change how the way your company works, you change your business continuity, and you change your RTO, you change everything, you change the process. And what happened? Even now, last week I was talking with Bill Watson, which is a CEO for a company for a company that distributes hardware, and we're facing now a big issue because hardware is very cheap. But now scalability is becoming an issue because the limitation is becoming a real issue because there's no limitation now. But the hardware per se is a limitation because you increase. But now what happened? The hardware per se, the architecture is going to become an issue in some time because technology will become an issue. The technology per se is becoming an issue in some time, probably in 1 year, 2 years, because the really necessity for storage for CPU for it, and there's no way to do that. But that's an issue that will impact the BIA processes because hardware is so cheap that what our organization does changing everything, because it's so cheap that nobody cares. So change the hardware. So, and you change the hardware and you're changing a lot. You're changing the processes. And that's probably changing your BIA. And you're changing the disaster recovery. It's in cloud. So, and probably many organizations migrate from physical to virtual because, they transitioning. We are transitioning, and like it is. Oh, we are in the cloud. Perfect. And we forget about, we got disaster recovery. And did you review your BIA? Yes, everything. The disaster recovery is fine. But you really review the BIA? You really reduce costs? You don't know. You really don't know. So it's something that on the module 3 and 4, or 2, 3, and 4, we will talk about that, because we will talk about what we can gain and what we cannot, because we will talk about all that. So the position BIA on the business continuity, as you can see, this is the old pyramid. So the business continuity, business impact analysis is the base, and everybody forget it. Always everybody forget about that, and that's why we consider that is really our let's say our big assessment. So the technique that conduct our PMO-BIA is our best practices on project management and PMO, organization chart, geographical maps, diagrams and data flow diagram, technology architecture diagram. We put some examples because we're talking about gathering data, talking to the customer. So we provide a lot of templates, also software made in-house. For example, we technology architecture diagram. I made certain sample of the business case. This is one example that we provide on the use case. This is a topological example of a production diagram of an application. This is a pre-production, interfaces, whatever, and then technique to conduct the data flow diagram. How this is, for example, an SQL server, and this is a data flow. Security, a security flow. How a data flow, and this is how, again, a diagram flow. So these are the technique that we use. Oh, I'm sorry. Also, we follow, obviously, the DMAIC, Lean Six Sigma technique. So define, the quantify, deploy, identify, solve, and maintain the control phase. So we follow all the processes and best practices to present the finding to the leadership. So we didn't forget. We used the best practices to present everything, and obviously to present a really plan, a big let's see, a big assessment and analysis, finding to the top level management, because we know it's really difficult to present this, or to sell this to the level management, because really a disaster recovery is really hard to sell a disaster recovery, or let's say internally to sell a disaster recovery, or to business plan, or even a BIA, is really hard, because it's a lot of time consuming. But it's something that we really need to really make an organization to understand. So, and the next step, finally, so that's why that we put the star, the really star, because we have the next step. We can do a lot of things. So I put a few. So I just put a few, and I can keep writing and writing and writing. So that's the output that we can do for all assessment. But the organization need to understand that this is a very important, and especially now, big organization that have physical, virtual, they have cloud, and they don't have right now. They don't have how to recover, because everything is on the cloud, and they keep forgetting that if they don't have a plan, they don't have really a BIA. They have a plan, because everybody have a plan, but they need to have a BIA. It's really important. So saying this, I really need to think that we really need to have this plan, or this framework, to make people to understand. And thank you very much. And I really need to feedback. And if any question for you, feel free to contact me. So you can contact me. You can find me in LinkedIn. It's more easy, because there is all the information, my mail, and you can contact me through PMO officer to the academic. So anything. So thank you very much, Leo.
Awesome, Walter. It's pretty difficult for C-level. I don't want to use the word to understand. I think it's nobody told them, nobody explained them, which is the difference between all the concepts that you have explained it. So for them, for C-level, they need the information easy, fast, simple, as much as possible. So this is this information, this concept, the PMO-BI is for tactical levels.
Yep.
Remember that the tactical levels for all our audience is all people who is leading a project or product management offices or any other name, value management office, transformation management office, technical office, and whatever, so on. So at this level, at tactical level, they should have all these concepts very clear, very powerful inside all his global office for managing all the global portfolio. Because when they understand these roles, PMO leader, PMO director, PMO coordinator, whatever their role, they need to have everything clear on the desk for sharing with all the operational teams that who are going to lead and execute in the technical roles and about all this information for with the help of the PMO sponsor. Because when everything is clear, it will be easier to share with the C-level to understand this, and including in the global portfolio and including to the global budget. Within the project and product management office, not within the services, the operations. Because it's not under umbrella of the operations of the chief COO,
officer.
Chief what? Operations officer. Okay, so yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's not under the umbrella chief operation officer. No, it's under the umbrella of the global office, PMO, and so on. This is the main huge difference. So that's why it's very important to understand all these concepts. How can we present? How can to implement this framework? This framework that we are this is a proposal, okay? Because when you have as a PMO leader, okay, you have all the best practices as much as possible for leading a PMO, will be easier for the global portfolio. Because remember that many projects and or products are not under umbrella for the global office PMO. No, it's not. Perhaps it's outside of the PMO and it's more difficult to manage the global portfolio for the best decision making at the C-level. Okay, it's very complex. Everybody knows about this because when all the projects of the organization are not included under PMO umbrella, is very complex to managing everything together, everything in best practices, and obviously this is negative impact for best decision making to the C-level, because C-level need to ask for all information that they need to the several different sources of information. So that's why it's very important that PMOs manage everything about the global portfolio. So that's why we are sharing this framework, new framework, because I don't know if it's any organization or any other industry organization or similar, they share something like this. We don't believe it. We didn't find that. This is our proposal for a better decision making, but at the same time, for a better managing at tactical level, obviously working together with the operational teams. Walter, only for my side, only one question.
Sure.
What can, if we are the PMO officer or PMO leader of the global office, what or how can explain very easy to the C-level to consider the PMO-BI as a framework within a PMO. What do you think? What would you share all the C-level?
Well, first of all, we have to ask them, what do we have now? What do they have now? If they have, what kind of disaster recovery, because they have, what plan do they have now? Because right now, especially big organization, because big organization right now, they are really confused. Because right now they got physical data center across the globe. Well, not across the globe, because keep remember that big data centers, okay, they don't cross overseas. Physical data center, okay, we can talk about AT&T, we can talk about Telefonica, because Telefonica doesn't have across the globe. Right? We're talking about disaster recovery. Okay? And then we're talking about big organization. Okay? And then they have the cloud. Cloud, they can have whatever they want. But ask them, okay, you got perfect, you got everything on the cloud. You have your disaster recovery or your business continuity plan. Where are your documentation? Where are the documentation? What happened when a disaster recovery occurred?
Well, perhaps they can, perhaps, sorry for interrupting.
Sure.
Perhaps they can say, no, we are not worried about this because it's our external supplier who is managing everything about this. So we are not managing on premise or in company all these all these business continuity and plans or and so on. So they cannot reply that. So, but as a framework, why they should consider, oh, okay, C-level will be more difficult, but at the PMO leader, PM officer, PMO director, because if we are going to ask the C-level, what do you have? Maybe they don't have enough time for replying, but maybe the PMO, because as the global entity, one managing the global projects, perhaps they should consider this more than C-level, just for first stage of contact, and later for the next stage of contact that will be the C-level. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think about this?
Yeah, sure. One, I can put an example that, as a matter of fact, in the module 1, there are few examples like what happened. There is a really good example what happened in March this year. I don't know if you recall, there was a big fire in France data center. They lost data for a lot of customers. And they have, that company, they have 27 data centers around the globe. Okay? And they got fired in the data center of France. And they lost data for more than 67 customers around the world. Okay? Well, for those customers that pay for a high level data recovery, there's not a problem. But they lost approximately 7,000 million because they got a lot of customers that they had no disaster recovery. And The problem was that they have to call those customer and tell the customer, I'm sorry, you lost your data.
Yeah, but this is operations. This is the day a day. But for a PMO is not involved in the day a day operations.
Yeah,
The
but
PMO no, but
look at
yeah,
for the other side. What
exactly.
happens if those customer doesn't have the documentation? They probably lose a lot, you know?
Exactly. That's my point. Yes, the data center in France were a huge
Yeah, they don't
disaster.
care.
No, yeah, right. There is a contract, no, within the operations, the daily operations of the company. So this is not the PMO. The PMO no is have any manage with this. This is external to the PMO.
External,
So
yeah.
what is the main point for a PMO if we have cases like this? Just this is the point for PMO-BI framework. For the PMO, what should consider in case disaster like this where the damage is done, which is the PMO-BI importance, which is the one, not the disaster, not about the data losses, not the data center born. This is operations. This is another cycle. This is another way of to checking. No, for a PMO, this is a very interesting example. But why the PMO should implement a PMO-BI?
Yeah, for two reasons. Why? One is to prevent. Okay, one is to prevent, and the second one, if the problem occur, okay, you have the documentation to recreate everything. Okay, so you save a lot of time because you have the documentation. That's
the two main reasons.
A really important thing.
This is the answer. Perhaps we can include a third one, which the backup line, no, in case of if one we have the main the main of the first data center, and which is the secondary in these cases, because if the primary data center is born, the PMO within the project should have the backup for the second line, the secondary data center. So they should talk with the CIO or CTO, depending or any role who has everything on the of the company about this kind of services, to include the secondary or the backup for this kind of things. Many companies, for avoiding invest money into the budget, annual budget, about all these things, they say, no, I'm pretty sure with the primary, I don't want a backup. So in these cases, which is the problem? They lost everything. But if the PMO within the project, PMO-BI, suggest to include the backup, explain why it's so important to adding to the global budget in this project to include this, the secondary or the backup of the data center backup, for avoiding in this kind of things. I think it will be very important.
Yes.
So amazing. See,
I really love it. I really love BIA, because I love virtualization. I work virtualization since I start working, because mainframe has virtualization. VMware start virtualization. So I used to work virtualization in virtual cartridges. So cloud is virtualization. So virtualization is life. Is, you know, is my life. So and disaster recovery is virtualization per se. So so in a virtualized life, you can virtualize everything, but you can lose a lot of things. And I got an example, a good example, in one of the biggest banking here in Catalonia. Well, saving bank, well, the biggest one, and he really have a disaster recovery online, the only one, and even we save 5 copy of a virtualization, and one time those 5 copy were wrong.
Well, this is in a real cases for another chat and another session. But
yeah, but we have the documentation. That was the difference. We have
exactly, because you have it on mind since the beginning. So in this case, you could recover
really fast
the majority of data, really in this case,
because we got the starting point.
Yeah, but this is operations. So I
repeat again. No. That's disaster recovery. That's BIA, because we got the business impact analysis.
Yes, but this is within the operations business unit, not the project business unit. That's why at the beginning was so important to include the documentation within the project, because if it happens, these cases like this, the service management office or the operations business unit or whatever, they have all complete and updated information to act in these situations of the disaster recovery. But this is different. So you are explaining that the banking, in this case, the bank was they have all the enough documentation for action after the disaster. But that's why important to consider the PMO-BIA as a project for the company, because at the end is the global company who is affected about these problems, no reason, these problems and these disasters. Well, we are out of time. Walter, wonderful session. Okay, we can find it right here. I don't know if somebody else have any questions. If not, we can connect with you in social media. Any other questions, we can chat in the near future with Walter. Walter, thank you very much for sharing. And well, thank you very much, the PMO Officer Global Community, for joining us in these sessions. We are live broadcasting, live transmission. Hope you have enjoyed it. So thank you very much. Until the next time, with the Global Community webinar series, The Magic of the PMO, the 5th and final season of our free webinars. And thank you very much. Greetings from Barcelona. Cheers from Barcelona to all global the world. And Walter, thank you very much for sharing again.
Thank you. Thank you to all.
Until next time. Ciao, ciao. Felix, thanks for coming with us right here. Thank you. Ciao, ciao.